You want me to start, or are you going to start?
I think I started the last one, didn't I?
Okay. I didn't know we were keeping score.
Your turn.
All right. Hey, it's episode 7. Thanks for stopping in. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Look at you, dressed appropriately for Thanksgiving.
I didn't even plan this.
Huh?
I didn't even plan this.
You look ready for the holidays. You ready for the holidays?
I'm so ready.
Yeah?
My favorite time of year is October 1st through January 1st, and then I just fall into seasonal depression. So
I love October's my favorite month on Hilton
Yeah.
Head. My favorite month.
Same.
And then Thanksgiving is tomorrow. Do you guys do the traditional where the day after or Thanksgiving Day you put up the tree and you string popcorn and you put it? Do you guys do all that?
We do.
You do?
We do, except we don't do popcorn because our dogs would eat it.
Yeah.
So I'm super bougie. Last year was the first year we actually purchased an already decorated tree with all the bells and whistles.
Really?
It's artificial, of course, but
Nice.
yeah.
Do you get that online or from a local company? Or
I bought it. Yeah, I bought it from a local store in Bluffton that actually just recently.
You want to give them a plug?
I will. It was House Market, but they recently actually closed their location, but they're still going to provide online services.
Nice.
I think it was just, probably a lot of overhead to have to keep the showroom space. So
nice.
Yeah.
So when does the tree go up?
Oh, the day after Thanksgiving.
Day after Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
So Black Friday is the green tree goes up.
Correct. We don't do the whole shopping thing. Do you? Do you guys go shopping Black Friday?
No.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I hate lines. I hate crowds. So it's not for me.
I like Amazon. We start like at Thanksgiving thinking about what we're gonna get everybody, and then we just kind of execute on ordering it and all of that kind of stuff. That's kind of the way that we do it.
Yeah. That's good.
So that's our Thanksgiving talk.
Yeah.
This week's episode is embarrassing moments in real estate. My family would tell you that I am one big embarrassment. More than just real estate.
I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah. Well, have you ever had anything embarrassing happen to you in your real estate career?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Are you ready to share?
Yeah.
All right.
But I first want to start off by saying, before we get into yet another sort of vulnerable topic, that I feel like we're doing this to make it so that people feel a little less alone. And I feel like if you've gone through something, whether it's sort of traumatic or something professional, that if you don't share it with others to make them feel better and to sort of lift their spirits a little bit, it's kind of like in vain. Like, what was the purpose, So I'm really big on, like we started off saying in the very beginning of this, being a resource, because I feel like it offers a level of comfort.
Sure. Being vulnerable, certainly allows people to see that it can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
Also, maybe we can drop some hints on, what we've done to not put ourselves in those situations again.
Yeah.
So that there can be a kind of a learning component to it.
Yes.
Right.
Take it or don't take it as far as the advice. But, some people are hard-headed like me and have to learn things the hard way.
Yeah.
But, we're here.
So how do you want to do it? You want like most embarrassing moments, or like, how do you want to go first? Or
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Most embarrassing moment.
Most embarrassing moment, hands down, in my real estate career so far. Knock on wood. I was showing property on the water. Fortunately, it was 2 women. It was a lady and her best friend. And the one lady was just sort of, along for the ride. Well, you know how some days in Hilton Head, it's a little bit breezier than in Bluffton, and you just don't know. So I was wearing this very cute little dress. I thought it was cute. And I pull up into the parking lot, and my car is about 4 or 5 cars over from theirs. I open my car door, and a gust of wind comes literally out of nowhere, and my dress goes over my head.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's one way to break the ice.
It definitely broke the ice. Thank God they were women.
Yeah.
We all have the same parts. But it was humiliating. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I look back and I'm like, God, I
I'm writing down right now, no more dresses for me.
And I told my mom about it. She's like, don't you wear slips? I'm like, Mom, slips are like from 1920. I mean, I don't know. Do people still wear slips? I don't know.
I don't know.
I tried finding one after and I couldn't find any. So
Wow.
It's not like the stores carry them.
Did they say anything?
They were like, it's okay. We didn't say anything. I was like, yes, you did. They're just being nice. They guarantee solve everything.
So I think everybody wants to know. Did they buy something?
No.
No.
I didn't even make a sale out of it.
Not even a charity purchase because they felt bad for you? No. Wow.
No.
Wow. What about a review?
No
review.
No
either.
review.
Oh,
I don't even think I ever talked to them again. We went and showed the property, and I was like, "We're done."
My gosh. Well, I don't have anything that embarrassing, but for me, being kind of a perfectionist, what's embarrassing to me may be different from a lot of people.
Okay.
Mine started with my first buyer. So,
Okay.
I started working with my dad, and I was probably in the business for 3 or 4 months. And what my dad said to me, now this is back in 2002, 2003, said, I have my own book of clients. I'm going to work with them. We have this website thing. And I mean, back then, like having a website with lead generation and all that stuff,
Yeah.
it was kind of a different world. He said, I want you, to just work on those inquiries. So this was an inquiry that had come into the website, and back in the day, we used a database. It wasn't really a CRM. It just contained data called Top Producer. And I kind of worked them in Top Producer and sent them information, and they came to town, and they were looking for a condo. And I showed them about, 5 or 6 different condos, and they were like in the Harbor Town area where we were looking at condos, kind of moderately priced, not really high end, not really low end, kind of moderate priced. And I showed them a Stony Creek villa, and they liked it, and I knew they liked it, and they said, we think we want to make an offer. And I was so excited, like trying to hold it in, but I was so excited. And I was like, okay, you want to make an offer? That's great. And I was like, how much do you want to offer? And they told me, and I was like, okay, I'm going to drop you back off at your hotel. They stayed at the Westin. I'm going to drop you back at the hotel. I'm going to go to the office, and I'm going to do the paperwork, and I'll be back here at like 3.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, that sounds great. I got back to the office, and I opened up my computer to write the offer, and I realized all I had was the price. I didn't have a closing date. I didn't have a deposit amount. Like, I didn't know their proper names. Like, I was so excited in the moment that I went full teenager, and I was like, yeah, great. How much? And then I hauled ass back to the office, and I just didn't have anything to write the offer. And I wanted my first offer, being a perfectionist, to be perfect and perfectly tied up. So I had to show up with just the price typed in, and then I had to handwrite everything else, which was like a dagger to me because I didn't have anything. So from that, what I did is I said, I'm never going to have this happen to me again. So I looked at the contract, and I wrote out every question that I would need to get answered, because back at this time, people, laptops are crazy expensive. They were like $7,000 or $8,000,
yep.
Right?
They were huge.
Yeah. So I didn't have a laptop or anything like that. So if I wanted to type it up and make it look professional, which I'm all about that, I had to go back to the office and write it up. So I created this kind of questionnaire that I knew that if they said, what I wanted to do is get to a point where somebody said, we want to make an offer, I could get just excited, but then I could open up my folder and I could ask them and know that if I got answers to all these questions, I could fill out a contract.
Makes sense.
So I did that, and then that evolved to kind of an online document that I could answer the questions in the document, and it just fed it into a contract. So it created this evolution of a contract for me and for us as a company that served us well. But that was my first deal. I had no idea what I was doing.
But you totally took lemons and made it into lemonade. Look at what you took away from that. You implemented something that you could put into place,
Yeah.
And again, we're always learning.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
So I don't even think that's that embarrassing. I told you that my dress went over my head, and you're telling me you forgot to put the earnest money on a contract.
My number
really?
one rule is
Those
always
are different levels of
no. My number one rule is I always wear pants when I'm showing property. Like that's my number one rule. So that's never gonna happen.
It's not fair. That's
All
not
right,
fair.
well, you got to tell us another one. Not that.
Oh, I have another one, and actually, this one's probably a little more in alignment with what you were kind of going over. But so I was actually really excited. I had a very, very high priced home that I was taking very serious buyers to look at, and I knew that out of the 6 houses we had narrowed down after looking at them, that they were definitely going to purchase one of them. So we go into this one home. It's on the water. It's got all the bells and whistles. It checks every single box that these people are looking for. Actually, it was a little bit bigger than what they had initially stated that they wanted to purchase. So we're walking through, and I'm, I always sort of like go with the wife, but I watch the husband like from a distance, and I just see him like he's got his hands in his pockets and he's nodding his head, and he's like, I can tell his wheels are turning.
Yeah.
And we were there probably a good 40 to 45 minutes, which in real estate is generally a pretty good sign, right?
Sure.
We walk outside, and he goes, he's like, it's everything we want and more. He's like, but what we're really stressed about, the more we were in there, every single piece of furniture in this house looked like it was made for the space.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was just that kind of house. I don't even think the attic had a speck of dust in it. I mean, it was just that meticulously maintained. And everything just looked like it was meant where it was. So I was like, I understand. And I mean, the house was like 6,000 square feet. So it's not like, he's like, as much as we love it, I don't think that we can fill it up. He's like, I feel stressed about filling it up. And I was like, I understand. They were on their way to a dinner cruise that night. And my fault, but it ended up working out. But when we're going to bang out like 6, 7, 8 houses in a day, I don't take the time to read all the nitty gritty about every single property. I don't go into the listing agreement or the listing documents and pull apart all of the, the property disclosure and all the things. Well, I went back that night, and I was like, what can I do to get these people like over this fear of filling up this house? Go into the listing documents. I'm reading all the documents in there, and one of them is an NIS. The whole house was furnished. It came furnished.
Really?
I can't tell you. It's not like I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
But I was a little sort of ashamed that I didn't have that knowledge while we were there, because imagine if we were standing in the living room and they're sitting there saying, just as much as we love it, I'm just not sure we can pull it off because of what it would cost to fill it up. And in that moment, I could have said, well, guess what?
Yeah.
It's furnished. All of it.
So how new were you in the business?
Wasn't that new.
Really?
I mean, at that point, I'd been in it like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a rookie mistake. But again, it's like, I had, in all fairness, I had only just gotten the list the day before of the houses they wanted to look at.
Yep.
And the day that I got it, I was showing property, and I just didn't have the time to sort of review everything,
In this business, different agents tend to find different niches that they work in.
Yeah.
Niches. And I think, that can cause that issue. So I've always worked in like the second home market and the investment property market. And so like 95% of what I've sold in my career has been furnished.
Yeah.
So I walk in with the assumption that it's going to be furnished, and then I'm double checking, just to make sure.
Yeah.
But I could see, if you're working in the more residential sector, in Hilton Head Plantation or Indigo Run or out in Bluffton, where the majority of the homes that you're showing are primary residence.
Yeah.
And those aren't usually sold furnished.
Yeah.
And you could easily, make an assumption that, if you're not in the type of property that you're used to selling, you could easily kind of miss that.
Dan.
And the newer you are, I mean, I know 2.5 years sounds like a lot of experience, but in that 2.5 years, if you had just been selling, that one type of property, it's really an easy mistake to make. Like, the benefit of experience is that you have F stuff up.
Yeah.
And you've learned from it.
Yeah.
And the only way to get those lessons is to F stuff up. Is to, like that, I think you're describing what you saw as a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Where you could have turned that into a selling point.
Dan?
The only way to get that is experience, right?
Dan?
Yeah.
It was a residential property.
It was a residential.
It was a residential property.
It was a resident.
It wasn't a rental.
But why would it be sold furnished? Like, that's so unusual. I would have made that mistake.
I know. I don't know. The people were just kind of unloading it. And by the way, took a huge loss. I mean, just the furniture itself was hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow.
Hundreds of thousands. I mean, yeah. So.
Wow.
But.
I mean, I think the fact that it was a residential property and it was sold furnished is unusual. I think a lot of people would have missed that.
But literally, if you had seen the furniture in this house, I'll show you later. But if you'd seen the furniture in this house, you couldn't have imagined anything else working in the home.
Yeah.
But silver lining, when I called him to give him the news, he goes, Heather, today's my birthday. He said, I'm calling my bank. I'm getting the money. We're doing this.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And they bought it?
They bought it.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep. So.
Nice.
Worked out.
Congratulations. Awesome.
Thanks.
Awesome. Well, I've had a lot of embarrassment with keys. Have you?
Of course.
Oh. So twice at Seacrest. Okay. I don't know if you've ever showed a Seacrest, but one time, well, the first time I was just showing in Building 2, and Building 2 is the one that's all closed in, that kind of has a courtyard that has a roof over that you're not outside.
Yeah.
And I assume it's still this. Well, it's probably not this way because everything is a door code now.
Yeah.
But you always put the lockbox on the railing.
Yes.
Right? And this, I think, was on the 4th floor.
Yeah.
And so, and it always has to do, well, not always, but almost every time a lockbox is involved in my screw-ups. So I popped the lockbox, and I went to grab the guts of the lockbox, and the key fell out. And, of course, it falls out and bounces and goes over the balcony.
Ooh.
Right? All the way down to the ground floor. Right? So I have to, do the walk of shame, get on the elevator, get out and get it, bring it all the way back up while the people are sitting there. And, they just have to be like, this guy's such a rookie. So that was one time. The second time I outdid myself, I was showing there's either 2 or 3 penthouses. They're above where the restaurant used to be. Now they built new ones downstairs just a couple years ago, where they converted the restaurant back into really, really nice, very large units at Seacrest. But this is like the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th floor. They've been there since the place was built.
Yeah.
And the unit numbers are like PH3, PH4. And I think I was showing PH4. And same thing, it was on the railing.
Mm-hmm.
I open, the guts come out, the key falls out, hits my foot, goes over, but this time it landed on the roof of the porte-cochere.
Oh, God.
Right? And so, I'm probably an agent of 7 or 8 years at this point. I'm resourceful. So I came over to the office here and loaded up a ladder. Put a ladder and crawled over the railing down on the roof of the porte-cochere and got the key. And people were great sports about it. They laughed about it, and it was all fun. And they ended up buying. They didn't buy that, but they ended up buying something in Seacrest. So that one turned out all right. I did the same thing at a Windsor. Did all the condos, a Windsor, same thing. Hit my foot, went over the, and this because they always put them on the railings.
Yes, I know.
And the key would fall out. It hit my foot and went over, and it was just down into like the planters and the landscape.
Yeah.
Took me about 15 minutes of like going through pine straw and chigger bites the next day to find the key. But the worst one for me, because this is the one that I had to call the listing agent on, it was a house in Palmetto Dunes. I opened up the key box. You would think I would know. Like, I should bring like a tarp and put it down when I open the key box so that when the key falls out, because it seems like it does all the time, that there's something to catch it. But it was perfect. It went right through the cracks of the deck.
Yeah.
And there was no way to get under. It was all lattice. There
Yeah.
was like no way to get to it.
Yeah.
So we couldn't get in.
Yeah.
And I had to call the listing agent.
Yep.
And let's just say the listing agent was not sympathetic to me. Mainly because the listing agent didn't have another key.
Okay.
So she was really, really pissed at me. And you know, I don't know why I didn't think of this. I should have gone and like gotten a drill and just taken up a couple deck boards, because that's what she ended up having to do, is like hire a contractor.
Yeah.
So I ended up paying the bill because
Of course.
I felt bad about
Yeah.
it. But now my rule is with that is whenever I get a listing, we always get like 5 keys.
Yeah. Smart.
You can't make that mistake.
Yeah. I mean, those lock boxes can be slippery little suckers. But, you know, you mentioned about the listing agent. First of all, I feel like when anything embarrassing happens, or that just anything of that nature,
Yeah.
the best way to handle it is with humor. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't show that you're not serious. It just shows that, you know, you've got a side to you that you're like, all right, yeah, we got this. We'll take care of it, you know? And I think that, you know, when people see that things happen and, you know, it again, but it also goes to show you that I think it's really important to have a good relationship with other agents just for that reason.
Yeah.
And it, you know, like, I feel like she should have been a little bit more empathetic and understanding, but there have been multiple occasions where my cellular service has been so bad that the stupid phone wouldn't connect to the lockbox. Really? And I would get an error message, and I would tell my buyers, just give me a second. I've got this, you know, like, this is where I can call a lifeline. And I will call, if I can't get in touch with the agent of the listing, I've actually called other agents that I have really good relationships with, and they've gotten me out of a pickle. Yeah. You know, I have a couple buddies in Hilton Head Plantation that if they were available, they were there within 15 minutes. And we just did like a look at the beautiful marsh view, you know, and you sort of like strategically figure your way through the time to make it less awkward. And you call in reinforcements.
I think typically the clients, unless they're complete a-holes, like they get it.
They get it.
And like you said, you know, you what I do is I poke fun at myself when I do it, and, you know, and I'll tell them about, you know, the last time I did something stupid with a key. And then they become kind of, you know, your supporter. I also think that, you know, what we want to do with clients is we want to make connections. And one way to make a connection with somebody is to let them know that you're not that serious, like that you're you're a human being.
Exactly.
Did you ever lock yourself out of a house?
I thought I did, but as it turned out, I didn't. But I did go into panic mode when I thought I did. Yeah. So it hasn't happened yet. Again, let me knock on some wood.
I have multiple times.
Really?
For confessing. Yeah, I have multiple times. So my rule with that, you know, I just have I've made rules for myself now. Mm-hmm. So when I get out of the car, my car key goes in my pocket.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. Because I have gone to get in the car, go to start the car up. Fortunately, I can go back in the house and get my car keys, but a little embarrassing. You sit in the car, go to start the car, can't because you don't have any keys. Yeah. Because I would bring them in and sit them down on the kitchen counter. So keys go straight in my pocket, and then when I open the door, I always leave the key in the door.
Smart.
Period. End of story. Because when I have done it, it's been in like rental properties where the door automatically locks. And like you can look through the side light and see the key for the door, sitting on the counter, and you feel like such an idiot.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's a little free advice. Leave the key in the door.
Yeah, that's good advice.
So that if anything happens and you go out the back and you walk down to the beach and you lock yourself out, then at least you can walk around to the front door and let everybody back in.
Yeah, that's really good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have anything else? Any other big embarrassing stories?
I mean, not really. Nothing to that magnitude. No, little things.
I have one more, and this was something that I could have been embarrassed about, but really the clients were embarrassed about. I was showing property in Sea Pines. I had this couple that were looking at property in Sea Pines. They're actually looking to buy a couple different houses in Sea Pines, and I had several listings. So a couple of the properties I was showing them were my listings, and a couple weren't my listings. So I think the second or the third house we looked at was one of my listings. It was, these people were looking for something in the beach block that they could rent out, but this house wasn't a rental. The people lived in it full time.
Yeah.
And so I made an appointment with them, and I went there and showed the property, and then we left and we went to the next house. When we pulled up to the next house, there was a car in the driveway. It was Saturday during turnover.
Yeah.
And it was a local license plate, but it was a nice car,
Yeah.
right? So I was thinking, maybe this is a cleaning person that makes a lot of money. But, so went up to the door. I had an appointment. It was during turnover. Rang the doorbell. The door opens. Who's looking at me in the face but my clients whose listing I had at the last house? They're looking at me.
Oh.
Right? And I go, hey, how's it going? And they said, good. And you could tell they didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm just going to be showing the house to these folks. And, we just left your house. We're going to go through this and we're going to look at a couple more. And they're like, okay. And then I walked in and there was another real estate agent.
Oh.
They reached out to another real estate agent.
Oh.
To show them property, which was weird. And so afterwards, like when I circled back with them, they were so, like they didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like getting caught cheating.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Did they say, like, it's not what it looks like?
No, well, I think they would have, except for the other agent came around the corner, and the other agent is a very well-known local agent, and I don't know that made, well, I mean, he had to have known because he knew that their house was listed, so, yeah, it was weird, and in the moment, I had clients with me and all that kind of stuff. I didn't show any reaction or anything. At least I don't think I did. And I think they were super embarrassed.
Yeah.
And afterwards, I reached out to them. I was like, hey, what was that all about?
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we knew you were out showing property, and so we didn't bother you. I'm like, really?
Oh, God.
Really? Like, I worked with my dad and all this kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
So the good news is I got that house sold, and they ended up, one saving grace, they ended up not buying anything else here. They ended up moving away. So at least in the end, I feel like I didn't lose the deal to somebody else, because I was really surprised. I thought I had like a good relationship with them. Like you said, cheating. Like I didn't know that there was any issues. Like I had no concern, so I was shocked.
Yeah. It just goes to show you the importance of communication, and
Yeah.
they were chickens.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the people that I were with that day ended up buying 3 houses in Sea Pines.
Nice.
In like a month period of time.
Nice.
And they were looking to buy several. So it worked out well for me.
Did you like talk to them about the situation that had occurred, or
later on? So I had sold property to them in the past.
Yeah.
And so I had a pretty strong relationship. I think, over the last 4 or 5 years, I've probably sold them 8 houses. They own 4 houses right now.
Yeah.
As investment. So I've had a good relationship with them. So I did later on.
Yeah.
I didn't want to make it about that day. I wanted to stay focused on the task at hand.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing. People are amazing.
People are interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of personalities. But
Well, I don't know what to say about your first story, but to everybody out there, thanks for sharing it. On behalf of everybody out there, thanks for sharing it. You ever had your dress blow up?
My dress has never blown.
Your dress has never blown
It's
up.
never happened to me.
You know what I want to do? I want to hear other people's embarrassing stories, other agents' embarrassing stories.
Yeah. Can we I'm gonna throw. Well, first of all, you can put them underneath, right? You put them in the comments.
Yeah.
But we should have like a contest.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If any of you have a story you want to come in and share with us, maybe right after the first of the year, we can shoot an episode where we bring some people in and we share some embarrassing. If you really want to lay yourself out there, or how about this? If you have something really embarrassing about me, not my daughter, not Dora, she can't come in. She would live for this. Or Heather, you can come in and tell that story.
Okay.
All right.
So that would work great for local agents. And if anybody out there is listening from far away, write them.
Yeah,
or read them.
Or do a selfie video and send it to us.
That's
I'd love
good.
that too.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That'd be good. Come on, share with us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, show some humility.
Yeah, you better watch what you say, not showing stuff. I didn't know where you were going with that.
Oh God, you had to go there. Well, at least if real estate doesn't work out, I guess I have other options.
Oh my gosh, you're selling something. All right. On that note, I think we should wrap up.
Yeah, this is taking a weird turn.
All right. Thanks for stopping in. Have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.